last that chapter is not with the doubts for everybody. Let's begin with the conservation of plants. We'll start with that. Conservation of plants and animals. Okay, so let's see what does this mean and what you need to do for this conservation of plants and animals. First of all, see that when you conserving something, when we talk about uh, conservation, okay, then you are protecting something. Let's talk. You are protecting the whatever for what you have begun your conservation. If it is either they are plants or animals, anything. And basically, what happens on the in the whole environment or on the earth, if you consider something which is getting endangered, if any of the plant, if any of the animal, and if it is getting deteriorated or if it is getting very much disturbed by the human activity, then we begin the conservation. uh, Before that, nobody cares about it. Okay, let me give you one example that we protect the plants, right? We go for the protection of a forest. We go for a protection of many of the animals. You must have heard about lions. You must have about the tigers, polar bears, or panda, and there are a lot of animals you can have the list in which we go for the conservation specifically, and it is very much uh, required for them. But do we go for the conservation for ants? Like we don't protect ants because they are lot in number. They are huge in number, because ants are also having so many of varieties. Okay, in house only we can see that there are two types of ants coming at our home, black and red. Okay, and like that, so many of varieties are there. If you go in the natural environment, some are very big, some are giant, some are very small. Okay, so we can't nobody is talking about the conservation of ants. Yes, nowadays conservation for the butterflies have been started, because they are also extincting, okay, on the verge of extinction. So when the particular organism is endangered, or if the uh, scientists or the researchers find it that it is uh, going to be get that species is on the verge of extinction, it is going to getting finished, then only the conservation starts. So basically, uh, if from your school, if you have visited, or on your own, then you must have heard about national parks. You must have heard about sanctuaries. And nowadays, there is one more thing you must have about, that biosphere reserves. Okay, so these are the uh, three fields you can consider, or the places, the habitat which are being provided by humans. Okay, and to conserve the particular organism. And in India, uh, there are so many national parks and sanctuaries are there. So what is the basic difference? Why do we need national parks? Why do we need sanctuaries? Why do we need biosphere reserves, and what is the basic difference between them? Let's see first of all that Have you visited any of them? Any of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. If you have visited, then it is good because you can see how they are organized. National parks, and let's talk one more, that is uh,
Ma'am, Kaziranga Natural Park.
okay, fine. That you have visited, then it is good. Okay, so let's see how does it work and what is the basic difference for them first of all, because you should know that what works with them and how they are organized. Okay, now see, first basic difference between national park and sanctuaries is that in national park, wait, see, in national park, human activity is not allowed. Okay, so very important is that what we are saying, that human activity is not allowed. While in sanctuary, it is possible to work for the humans. Okay, so now see what type of humans. Uh, Not every human is allowed in the sanctuary even. Okay, so wherever these sanctuaries and national parks are there, they are all the places like where it is where tribals are living. Okay, where the local community is there, the people staying from hundred of years, they are staying over there. Okay, so these type of human activities are allowed in sanctuaries. If the tribal peoples are living over there, they are allowed to work if the sanctuary is present. But if it is national park, human activity is not allowed at all in a particular boundary. Okay,
Ma'am, human activities means what activity, ma'am? Please give one example.
fine. Like agriculture, okay, for agriculture, cutting of the trees for the fire, and wood is not allowed to take from that particular, you cannot take away the wood from that place for uh, uh, household activities like for making up furniture, for cooking your food or something like, because uh, it is the area where the tribal people live. So what they do agriculture, they cut the wood from the trees for their regular activities. They use the river from that particular area for the water. Okay, so if it is national park boundary, then that is not allowed, and if it is sanctuary, it can be done. Understood?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, in this national parks, ma'am, how the trees then get water? Because if humans are not allowed only.
It is naturally better because national park is not like your garden or a small area. It's a huge area, a huge forest-like region. So it will get trees and every other organism will get all their resources. If you talk about water, if you talk about food, anything, okay, they get everything naturally, either through rainfall, either through river flowing inside it. Okay, and or through the ground. If you talk about trees, they obtain the water from the ground level. Okay, so that is what the basic difference for the national parks and sanctuaries. See, don't mislead the word park. Park, that doesn't means like you will have a jogging track and animals are kept over there in the cage or something. It is all open just like forest, but it has a fixed boundary. Okay, so another difference between that, it has a fixed boundary. Okay. While in sanctuary it is not there. Okay. No fixed boundaries are there. Then have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then what happens with the national parks? Suppose in that fixed boundary you have trees to get protected. That means all plants and animals. If other organisms are also there, they will also will get protected. And even if some historical buildings are there inside it, okay, some historical place is there, suppose, okay, that will also get protected from that authority. Okay, so if what we will say that if it is plants, then the flora of that place, and if it is animal, then we will use the word fauna. Okay, so flora, fauna, historical buildings, anything which comes under that boundary will get protected from that particular authority. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, while in sanctuaries what happen, they only concentrate for the flora and fauna. And if any building is there, man-made structure is there, historical building or something like that is there, then another authority will be there which is taking care of it. But in sanctuaries, only flora and fauna are means they are concentrating on these only. But in national parks, what happened? Whatever comes within their boundary, they will protect each and everything, whether it is man-made or whether it is natural. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. So these are the basic difference, and then you have many of the political and government sections working for them. So it is said that sanctuaries are controlled by state, particular state. If it is present, like if it is present in West Bengal, then only West Bengal government will protect the sanctuary. Okay, so it belongs to state, while national park belongs to the central government. That is the one more difference you can write, but that is for the social study, not for the biology you need it. Okay, so that is the thing. And one more thing, that sanctuary can be converted into national park. That is the possibility, but national parks are never converted into sanctuaries. Okay, do remember this. Sanctuaries, if a government finds it that the flora and fauna of that particular sanctuary is still in danger, then that sanctuary will be converted to the national park. Okay, to impose more rules on it, that on that region. But national park is never converted into sanctuaries. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So this is possible, this can be done, but this is not possible. This is not possible. Is it clear? So this is the basic difference for the national parks and the sanctuaries. And the thing is that if you have visited, then if you have visited national parks and if you have visited sanctuaries, basically if you visit national park, you are provided with the vehicle of the government. In that you have to sit, and you have a particular driver
I'm
who
Jeep.
will, yes, anything, that bus or jeep, whatever it is there, it will be provided to you. And that will be taken by someone who is specialized for that area. and then he will take you to the particular route only. They will not even go inside something. They will tell you that there danger animals are there. It is not good to step out of the vehicle. You, if you visit there, then you will experience that part. Okay, so that is how the national park and sanctuaries are made. So that is the basic differences between them. And let's see, if we talk about the biosphere reserves, these biosphere reserves, uh, reserves. Okay, so biosphere reserves sometimes what happens that if a particular state or of a particular city, if they have two national parks or one national park, one sanctuary, something like is there then, and if it is found that still the control is not there for that particular region, if still the animals are in danger, then they are converted to the biosphere reserves. Okay, now see that biosphere reserves can have two national parks in them. They can have one national park, one sanctuary in them. There may be the possibility like that. Okay, so the boundary for the biosphere reserves increases. Okay, and for if biosphere reserve is being created, then the team of the research people will work extensively for one particular organism. Suppose if we talk about lions, okay, so for lions, because they are very much less in number, they are uh, protected in biosphere reserves rules. Okay, rules for these area are much more strict, much more conserved. So that there will be a special team who will look for these lions. They will look after them, they will protect them. They will not allow any of the uh, any type of disturbance from any of the authority when they are doing it. So that is called the biosphere reserve. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So they will uh, see, sanctuaries have little rules. They have rules which are little bit fragile and weak. The strict rules are imposed when it is a national park, and more stricter rules are there when it is a biosphere reserves, and they will work for a particular organism. If it is a biosphere reserve, then they will go behind a particular organism. If we talk about lions, if we talk about tiger, if we talk about panda, okay, so uh, musketeer is also there. There are a lot of animals. Uh, they when biosphere reserve will work for them. Okay, I think you must have seen in on National Geographic or Discovery Channel that a team is there where uh, they have doctors, they have the wildlife adventurers. Okay, so what they do, they take a baby of a baby, they will protect it, they will feed them, they will make them big, then only they will release them in the forest. Okay, so they will do everything for that particular organism. Now, if this is biosphere reserves, so let's see, why do we need to create all these areas? What is the necessity? Why can't we keep them as a forest only? Okay, so why the government is imposing different types of rules? Let's say that first, as we know, because we are conservation has to be done. First main cause is deforestation. Okay? So deforestation, that is one of the biggest and main cause we need to bring the government to protect these areas. We need to create national parks, sanctuaries, reserves just because of deforestation, because this is done very harshly and very widely all over the earth. So reason for deforestation, there are two types of reason can be the possible. There may be the natural also. Deforestation can be done naturally, and deforestation definitely can be done by a man. Okay, so natural are reasons are very less. You must have heard about the forest fire. Okay, and you must have heard about the drought because of temperature, harsh summer. So these are the two reasons, that forest fire and drought are the natural reasons, while man-made reasons are many. You can take because of agriculture, okay, and this is definitely not a harmful reason, but the let me clarify that if you have big trees, suppose if you have trees which are 100, 200, 600 years old, and if you cut them and if you do the agriculture, then it is not a good thing to do. Okay, because the trees which are so old, they provide lot of oxygen to that area, to that region. Okay, and when you cut them, then doing agriculture is not a bad thing, but after cutting such type of tree and doing agriculture, it is not a good thing to do. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes,
uh,
ma'am.
So people sometimes somebody can ask you that agriculture is not a good bad thing to do. It's you are also, if you are doing agriculture, then you are planting some more trees only, or planting doing for the cause of food. But the thing is, you are cutting the old trees. That is the reason which is not good to do, because if the tree is very old, then it provides oxygen, a lot of oxygen. That is the reason, most prior reason. And another thing, that if the tree is too old, then it is a house or it is a home for many of the other organisms, many birds, many microorganisms, many underground animals which are living there. So it is a house for so many living creatures and you can't disturb it. So that is why the agriculture can be considered. Then there definitely for building houses, I think this you are seeing in your city. It is done nowadays. Uh, the if ask your parents that if you belong to the same city,
factories.
yes, what they do, that places where no humans were there before 20 years. Ask your parents that before 20 years your parents must have told you that this area was just like a jungle, was just like a forest. But now see how it is developed. You can see roads, you can see buildings, you can see malls or something like that. Okay, so you must have heard this from your elders. So to build house, if you are cutting trees, that is also not good construction purpose. Then you have another things also, that like for furniture and all that, if you are cutting wood extensively for furniture, that is also not a good thing to do. So these are some of the reasons, man-made reasons, where we are just fulfilling our necessities by harming the environment. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So these are man. You can list out many of the reasons with the man-made, title. If you know some, just add on. There are lot many reasons can be added. Okay.
Ma'am, for mining of minerals.
Yes, for mining minerals. Then
Factories.
yes, factories also very good. So there can be n number of reasons because humans are always have a nature of disturbing the environment. They are very less number of humans think of protecting it. Okay, so what people think, let me cut out these trees. It doesn't make much difference because there are n number of trees over at that place. That is what the thinking is. And if people think that if I cut two trees, what makes the difference to the environment? But that is what, if everybody thinks like that, then two trees will be dropped down, and the forest or the jungle will get over. Okay, it will be converted into the ground. That is why the human nature is like that. It is disturbing the environment continuously. Okay, so let's see what happens when you do the deforestation. Then take up the causes. Okay, take up the cause for it. Uh, First cause, definitely, if you cut the trees, then increase in temperature. Okay, that is the first most basic reason happens when you cut the trees. I think this you must have experienced around you also. Suppose nearby your house, if neem tree, banyan tree, or peepal tree or something, one big tree is there, and if somebody comes to construct a road or anything, any other type of construction over there, and if they remove that plant, if they remove that particular tree, then what happens in that region? The shade is gone, and you will feel how much heat can be felt when the summer days are there. So first reason, that is increase in temperature, happens when you do the deforestation. And have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, another thing is that I will be writing like this only, okay, in symbols. So it will be easier for you also to remember, and you can extend the point with your words in front of it. So increase in temperature happens, then increase in pollution. Okay, so that is the another reason, increase in pollution is there. Now see how it is increasing. Definitely you are reading this from class 3 or class 5, that trees or plants intake CO2 and gives out oxygen. So if no trees are there to take up CO2, then definitely the pollution will increase. So with this you can write this, CO2 also increases in the environment. Okay, that you can write. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Fine. So if this is the reason, then let's see what happens with other things, like there will be decrease in, okay, there will be decrease in rainfall. Okay, so how it is decreasing? Because if trees are not there, then definitely the natural cycles, okay, water cycle and the cycle which is responsible I think you must have heard about that land breeze and sea breeze is there. The hot air travels from the water.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes.
have studied in social study, it is there in geography, I think. Land breeze.
Ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Land. So, the sea breeze, these are there. So, if trees are there, then definitely hot air is going to be cooled down as faster. Okay, if no trees are not there, then the temperature difference to be maintained between land and sea is not done. If that temperature difference is not there, then definitely what is the first reason is that decrease in rainfall. Okay, fine. Now you can ask me, ma'am, nowadays we can see the floods all over the country. I think floods all, let me take, not even all over the country, all over the world, floods are there. Okay, so how the rainfall has been decreased? It is not decreased. It is, I think, lot of rainfall is there nowadays. But the thing is, the rainfall will not be on time when it will be required. Okay, and when it will come, then it will lead to the destruction. That means it will lead to the flood. So that that you can write in decreased rainfall. See, too much of rainfall which leads to the flood, is it good for agriculture? No. Got it?
No,
That is
ma'am.
not good. If late
Yes,
rainfall
ma'am.
is coming, rainfall is very late, that means you must have heard from your parents that 10 before 10 to 20 years the rain starts from the month of June, or from the last week of May or first week of June. But now it is whole June, month of June has been gone. No rainfall is there, and it's July, it's August. Then the rains will start. Have you heard this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is what the decreased rainfall. That means when it is required, it is not there, and when it is not required that much, then the floods are there. So that is not a good sign with the rainfall. So, and the most important reason for that is that less number of trees. If trees are not there, trees are less in number, nobody is going to take up CO2 for you. And if more CO2 is there, then temperature on the land will increase. And the difference between the temperature between land and sea will not be maintained. And that will lead to the decreased rainfall. So all these things are linked with each other. Okay, so all these things are linked, they are connected. It is not like this, if we try to solve this much of issue, then this will be take up later. It is not like that. All of them are interconnected with each other. Okay, and now see, if rainfall decreases, definitely what happens, it will affect, it will decrease the ground water. Okay? It will decrease the groundwater. Now, if rainfall decreases, groundwater decreases, then one more thing decreases, that is fertility of soil. Okay? Fertility. The soil becomes dry, it becomes very much not good for the agriculture, because no water is there. No agriculture will be possible. So fertility also decreases. Okay. And all this thing will lead to increase in natural calamities. Okay, natural calamities. Now see, all these things will happen, but how it will increase the natural calamity? See, I have written all these things, increases. decreases, everything decreases. But suddenly increase in natural calamities I have written. So let's see how they are increasing. Now, first of all, if we take forest fire, okay, why it is happening? Because see, at when the rains are required, if rain is not there, then the environment will have more temperature. If more temperature is there, then the trees will get dry because groundwater is less. They will not get enough amount of water from the ground, and the trees will become dry. Wood will be dried up, and once it is dry, you must have heard that when two dry woods are rubbing each other, it can cause fire. Have you heard this?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is what is happening with the forest. How the natural forest fire occurs? It is just because of this. Because the wood is dry, and when two woods are rubbing each other, it can cause fire at a very large scale. A huge fire occurs in the forest, and this cause a natural forest fire. Understood? So that is a natural calamity. It occurs naturally because the wood is dry, it occurs naturally. But the reason behind them is all these are the reasons. Okay. Then another thing, that forest fire occurs with this natural calamity. Floods can be there, that you can see nowadays on the news channels. Okay, and at some area droughts must be there, no rain at all. Okay, so it's all, the whole balance of that water cycle will get disturbed. You must have heard, if you are reading or if you're watching news nowadays, then you must have heard that the if cause you study social studies, and in social science you must have seen the map of the whole world. The region where
Yes, ma'am.
the region, yes, the region where the deserts are present, there nowadays huge rainfall occurs on the deserts. Are you watching this thing in the news? Let me take up the example.
Yes, ma'am.
Rajasthan, it is a desert part of the India, but nowadays it is facing a huge rainfall. Okay, it's a desert. Rainfall should not be there too much, but it is huge rainfall is there in Rajasthan. I think you must have heard about Jaipur and Jaisalmer, Jodhpur. All these places are facing huge rainfall nowadays.
Ma'am, due
Another,
to global warming.
yes, I will be coming up with that topic only after this. Okay, so that is what is happening. And the places where rainfall should be there, that means the places which are very green, which are very humid, where regular rainfalls are there, there the rainfall is very much less. It is there, but it is very much less in amount. That is what the imbalance have been created with the environment. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there is a lot of imbalances there with the water cycle, and this is what you have to learn with the causes of the deforestation, and the one which you said right now, global warming, that is also one more very much important. How this global warming is acting as a villain in our life. Let's see that global warming is there. Let's see what is happening with this. How the global warming is caused, and what is happening with it is that, see, very simple concept I will take up for the global warming to make you understand what does this word means. Okay, so let's take up this. Suppose if you take the temperature of the whole earth, let me say that. Okay, you will divide the earth in latitudes and longitudes. Okay, and you have equatorial regions, you have tropical regions, and you have polar regions. In three type of region we can classify the earth. Okay, and for this type of classification, if you take the temperature at the polars, it will be in minus. Okay, and tropicals will be having a moderate climate, while equators will have a hot climate. Okay, so that is what the basic thing you will understand with the temperature if we divide the earth. Okay, and let's see, if I say what is the average temperature of earth, do you understand the word average?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
so suppose from every country at the polar region, from every country at the tropical, and every country at the equator, each and every country you take the temperature weather temperature from that particular region and take out the average, then the average will definitely will be somewhere from 23 to 26 or 27 degrees Celsius. It will be there. So this is a very soothing temperature, that is very comfortable temperature for to live. Okay, at 23 to 26 you feel good, you don't feel heat, you don't feel cold, so it is a very soothing temperature. So if you take out the average temperature of the whole earth, it will be like this. Now what happens with this, that what do you mean by global warming actually, that suppose there is lot of pollution is there. Okay, lot of pollution is there. That means one basic important cause for pollution is definitely CO2, carbon dioxide, which is coming from factories, vehicles, everything which is emitting, your AC, your refrigerator, everything is releasing CO2. Understood? So definitely CO2 on the earth will increase. There will be increase in CO2. Okay. Now what happens, that I think you must have studied in your social science that CO2 is 0.03% or 2% on the earth. Something like that must be given. Okay,
Yes.
fine. I will
Yes, ma'am.
take different books, different number will be there, but let me take up 0.03. Okay, now it increases. Suppose from 0.03, nowadays CO2, let me double it. 0.06 is there. If this percent increases, that means carbon in the environment is increasing. Definitely CO2 is increased, but along with that, what is increasing? That is carbon. Because not only CO2 is there, carbon monoxide is there, methane is there, everything is having nothing but the carbon as a common element. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
Now understand this, Buddha. If carbon increases, then carbon molecule have a tendency, have a capability to absorb the sunlight or radiation that is coming from the sun. Okay, it can absorb the sunlight in a very large amount. So if huge number of carbon is there, then definitely all of them are going to absorb the sunlight. And if sunlight is being trapped by the carbon, it is being holded by the carbon. Once the sunlight that I will use the word ultraviolet radiations, okay, or infrared radiations. You have, I think you are aware with these words.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so UV, basically we go for UV radiations. So these UV radiations will be captured by the carbon. Suppose if this is a carbon, so whenever the heat comes to it, UV radiation comes to it, it will capture it suddenly, and it will not allow it to go anywhere. So if it is capturing huge amount of UV radiation, then definitely you have lot of carbon on the earth. uh, if it is increasing, the carbon is increasing, it will capture the heat, UV radiation, and that will lead to increase in temperature. Okay, that will lead to increase in temperature because number of trees are very less. What they have to do, they have to absorb CO2, but if they are less, then the carbon is very much in the environment, and that to lead to the increase in temperature. And if temperature increases, that means you must have read in the newspaper or heard in the news that glaciers are melting nowadays, polar regions are melting, ice on the polar regions is melting. Have you heard this in news?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so what happens that this temperature at the polar region is also increasing. Tropical region is also facing same thing. Equator is definitely going to face all these things. So that this average temperature, that means whatever temperature you were maintaining till now, it is being increased. Okay, and if it is increasing a very in a very fast manner. So this range will be going from, suppose it goes from 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. This range changes from 25 to 28. Definitely, if this is increasing, it is not a good sign. Then what is increasing?
Global warming.
Got it? This is what the global warming is. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Because you are studying the whole globe, you are taking the temperature of the whole globe, and it is becoming warmer in the warmer in the nature, warmer in the temperature. That's why this range is getting disturbed. And you must understand that that every year, with passing every year, the 0.5 degrees Celsius is increasing. There will be adding of zero point 0.5. So much of pollution is caused nowadays that 0.5 degrees Celsius is there is a change in the range. So if one year it is 0.5, next year it will be almost 1 degree. Next year it will almost 1 degree Celsius total. So how fast it is changing, and from with 1 degree this range will also differ. From 25 to 28 it goes to 26 to 29. That range is also increasing nowadays. So because minimum temperature is coming towards the warmer side, with the higher temperature, the whole earth is facing the same type of difficulty, and that is what the global warming is. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Fine. Anything to be asked regarding this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Fine. So
Ma'am,
that
this 23 to 26 degrees Celsius is the average temperature in the world.
it was. Nowadays it is not. Okay, it was where actually you must have gone through the weather report that minimum temperature and maximum temperature is given.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so minimum temperature, because you are taking the temperature from the whole earth, range has been established, and for the whole world this was the average temperature.
Ma'am,
Yes, beta.
ma'am, can you explain why, because of this deforestation, ma'am, how the desertic areas are getting more rainfall?
Just because you must have heard about lot of cycles, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, water cycle. Have you heard about them?
Ma'am, we have heard about water cycle, not oxygen and carbon.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine. In higher classes, it will come. You have carbon cycle, you have nitrogen cycle, you have oxygen cycle, sulfur cycle, phosphorus cycle, everything is there. Okay, so let's see about water cycle. Because deforestation is there, the everything is getting disturbed from groundwater to rainfall. See, if number of trees are less, okay, so groundwater is decreasing. If groundwater is decreasing, definitely they will get dry. If trees are dry, nobody is there to carry out the photosynthesis. That means nobody is there to take up CO2. If CO2 is not taken up by the plants, no organism on the earth are there or have the capability to absorb CO2. Only the plants and only the microorganism which can photosynthesis, which can do photosynthesis, can absorb the CO2 from the environment. No other organism have this capacity. And so if deforestation occurs, CO2 which is not absorbed by the trees or the plants, it remains in the environment. And if it remains in the environment, the carbon increases. Okay. And as heat increases, the change in the, suppose if you have land region and around, after that you have a sea over here. Okay. The breeze which is being created by the sea and land, it has to be interchanged. Okay, because whatever hot air is prepared by the sea, it prepares the clouds, it forms the clouds, and these clouds, when they are formed, when they come towards the land region, okay, they should be cooled down. Once cooling happens, what happens? Then rains will be there. Okay, then rains will be there, groundwater will increase. But because of these trees are not there, everything is getting disturbed.
Yes, ma'am.
That is why we are facing the difference in the environment in deserts and in the other tropical and temperate countries. I think you must have studied social science, tropical region, temperate
Yes,
regions.
ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that is what the difference. You can see it around you also. Okay, if you see or if you are having a good observation, then you can see a lot many things are changing. That trees are not giving you the fruit at the if it is summer season, then you are not getting sometimes mangoes, particularly in whatever month it should provide. Okay, that is also changing. Flowering pattern of the plants has been changed. So lot of things are getting disturbed, and that is just because of deforestation. I think you must have heard about the Amazon forest.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
And that
Yes, ma'am.
forest are called the lungs of the earth.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because uh, those whatever the forest you are having on the earth, they are working as a lungs. They take up the whole CO2 and they give out the oxygen to us. And if
So,
this
ma'am,
forest, yes, madam?
we get 20 to 30% oxygen from Amazon only.
Yes, that is true. 20 to if you take older data, then more than 35% of oxygen was created by Amazon forest only. And in India, we have lot of forest. Sundarbans, you must have heard about them. Gir forest, you have heard.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and
Gujarat.
now, yes, and nowadays all of these forests are converted either into sanctuaries or national parks. You know that? Because all
Yes,
of
ma'am.
them, all these forests are forest regions. Now they are not called forest. They are called national parks, or they are called sanctuaries, or they are called biosphere reserves. So that means that uh, they are not free from the government. They are not free from the rules. They are bounded in the rules because they are so much endangered. They are so much on the verge of extinction. That is why they are covered by the government to protect these forests. Understood this?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
so that is why the conservation of the trees, you once you protect the trees, other things will be balanced on its own. Okay, you don't have to run for the water crisis. You don't have to run for fertile soil crisis. You don't have to run for all these. Everything will be done on its own only once you protect the trees. And basically the trees which are very much old, they have almost 50 to 60 years of their life has been, they are big huge trees are there in some area. If you see them, somebody is cutting them down, then you can raise a voice, ask them not to cut, ask them don't do that. Otherwise it will be very much, it will be difficult for that particular region to survive even. Okay. And if you do that, people may call you mad sometimes, but that is how only the mad people can do the wonders. Okay, so you can protect by raising your voice, by creating a objection. Don't cut the trees and don't allow to cut the trees in your nearby areas also. Suppose wherever you are living and you have big trees over there, and due to construction purpose or due to some purpose which is not, uh, without that also you can do, you can survive without particular cut. That means if you don't cut that tree, then also you can have another option, create some other option. Don't cutting a tree is not an option. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And now if you must have heard that nowadays uh, architects are there and they are designing that type of road or that type of building in which they don't cut the trees and they form a building around it without cutting them or without disturbing them. And if they want to they want that particular region and they want to remove that tree, then what they will do, they will uproot it from the base and they will plant it at some another place. Have you seen that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in on the channels I think in India that practice has not been done widely because nobody cares a lot for because it costs money for uprooting a tree, taking it up to the another place where that much area should be available. It takes money, so nobody cares. Cutting is, they find it more easier option. So that is what is happening. But because your generation can do that, so you can object it. Don't cut the tree. Find an option. Do something in which you don't require to cut the tree and your construction also occurs. Understood?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So
Yes,
that is what
ma'am.
Yes,
till
ma'am.
here global warming is there. And do read from your textbook. Then we have this property of the soil after that. That once you are thorough, once you read this, then you will understand that how the soil property is also changing. Fertility of the soil is changing because the green areas are nowadays deserts. uh, they are almost uncultivated lands, useless lands. So how the soil property is changing, that we will also see in the next class.
Ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am,
What
if the
happened?
balance in nature is not maintained, that means that we are cutting the trees and the temperature is rising. Ma'am, if the temperature is rising, then how a lot of rainfall occurs?
How a lot of rainfall occurs? Because the rainfall, see, rainfall is a natural phenomenon, beta. It is going to occur. Okay, but the thing is, it is occurring at improper timing. It will take up improper places. That is what is happening, or in very weird manner. See, you can see the floods nowadays. They are very wild. They're very drastic or very dangerous. The reason is because of deforestation. Okay, because whatever the requirement of this of rainfall is there on the land, it is not there because the balance in the temperature is not there. Somewhere it is yeah, I think you must have felt this. Sometimes 2 to 3 days it is like very high temperature you will feel, and suddenly you will feel that uh, the winds are there. uh, the temperature is suddenly cooled down. That imbalance is there, and that is why that rainfall is also huge rainfall is there, and it is very improper manner, imbalanced manner it is happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine. Anything
Okay.
else?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, any other doubts from any of the chapter which is coming in your exam?
No, ma'am.
Nothing? Fine. So just go through the content of your textbook before appearing for the exams. Read your textbooks thoroughly, not even for biology, for every subject.
Ma'am,
Okay? Yes, Neha?
ma'am, ma'am, please, can you name a harmful, ma'am, poisonous mushroom?
Mushroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Harmful poisonous mushroom, you are asking me?
Yes, ma'am, in microorganism it is there.
Okay. First of all, do you know the mushroom which you eat? You know its name?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, first do that. Find out the good one. Okay, and let me give you one hint for that. Agaricus. You will find this word when you read about something about mushroom. Okay,
No, what is agaricus?
that is what I want you to read. Okay, from where you are doing this research? Definitely Google. Am I right? You are Googling it. Okay,
Ma'am, it is poisonous also and eatable.
edible also. Fine. Just read something about this. You will definitely come to know what you are asking to me. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
fine. See, I can give you the answer, but that will not lead to the end of your query. Okay, you are asking me poisonous. That's why I asked you. You know the one which you eat. Okay, first find out the good one, then we will discuss about the bad one also. Okay, and I think mushrooms are available in the market, on the stores, from wherever you are purchasing it. Ask them for even, I think in bakeries it is available. So you can, for nowadays it is not easy to go over there. That's why you have to Google it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Okay,
you
ma'am.
will have fun and develop that tendency. Why you are thinking about poisonous one? Why haven't you thought about the one which you eat?
No, ma'am, it is a question of our book.
Okay, it's a question of a name the poisonous mushroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So I have given you the hint for the answer. It is here only. Okay, just find it out.
Okay, ma'am.
Fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it okay, beta?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So have fun, do the research, and be a scientist.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye,
Goodbye,
ma'am.
beta.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, goodbye. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.